We continue to reflect on the power and the meaning of the Eucharist. I've been going through the parts of Mass, liturgy of the Word, liturgy of the Eucharist. Today I want to reflect just a little bit on different images of the Eucharist, of the Mass. We call the Mass the sacrifice of the Mass. So sacrifice is one powerful element of what the Mass is all about. When we celebrate Mass, we enter into the sacrifice of Jesus on Calvary. And in the Mass, Jesus continues his complete offering of self to the Father, and we join ourselves in that sacrifice. So sacrifice comes from the Latin sacrificere, which means to make holy or to set aside for a holy purpose. And we realize in ancient religions, every ancient religion had some form of sacrifice, of offering the best they had to give to God in the case of the Jews, or to the gods in the case of pagans. But they all felt this need to offer something to God as an offering of blessing, or calling down the Lord's blessing upon them. So for Jesus, he becomes our sacrifice on the cross. He's the sacrificial victim, he's the priest, and he's the altar of sacrifice. We know that when we sacrifice ourselves, when we make a gift of ourselves to others, it costs us something, that we give the best that we have. So love is nourished by sacrifice. So we participate in the sacrifice of the Mass, which is that ongoing, complete self-giving of the Son to the Father in the power of the Holy Spirit. And when we live our lives in holiness, service, and faith, we join in that sacrifice. Another image of the Eucharist is thanksgiving. The word Eucharist itself means thanksgiving in the ancient Greek. And we come together at least every Sunday to thank the Lord. To number one, thank him for the gift of Jesus. And I've said this before, but it bears repeating, that when we feel in the depths of our soul the reality that on the cross, Jesus has literally traded his life for ours so that we can live forever, that we can be saved from sin and death, then thanksgiving and praise becomes our response to the enormity of that gift. So we come to Mass with grateful hearts to simply thank the Lord for Jesus Christ, for salvation, for our life, but also for the many gifts that the Lord has poured into our lives. So for a Christian, Thanksgiving isn't just the fourth Sunday or fourth Thursday in November. It's every day of the week. Thirdly, the image of memorial, that to remember something, in a sense, is to bring it into our heart and spirit. Think of the tragedy of suffering amnesia or dementia, where you lose the power of memory. Memory really defines who we are. So in the Mass, we remember everything that the Lord has done for us, realizing that that's also being unfolded in the present moment and also anticipated in the culmination of salvation history, at the end of the world, the final judgment, the second coming of Christ. So that image of memorial is to call to our mind and hearts what the Lord has accomplished in the past, what he's doing right now in this moment for us, and in anticipation of how all of that will be fulfilled in the great and stirring events prophesied in the book of Revelation. And fourthly, St. Thomas Aquinas referred to the Eucharist as banquet. So when we think of God feeding his people in the desert in the form of manna, there's that beautiful prophetic image from the book of Isaiah that on this holy mountain, God will provide the choicest of foods and the richest of wines to his people. The sense that in the Eucharist, we have the superabundance that's made manifest in the multiplication of bread and fish in Jesus' ministry. This abundance of the Lord feeding us with his word, feeding us with his body and blood so that we can make our earthly pilgrimage towards the Father's house. So sacrifice, thanksgiving, memorial, banquet are four fundamental ways to look at Mass and to understand more fully the meaning of the Mass and our participation in it.